Hi, Matthias. Good to see you again. Could you introduce yourself and your business?
Okay, hi. Okay, thanks for having me. Look, so as I've mentioned before, I've been in Singapore for the past 24, 5 years now, 2001. So a lot of things have changed. I've been in insurance since then, worked for AXA. I left them in 2015 to set up my own firm. Did a mini spin-off with them that they acquired back in 2017, which was the first time I could sell my business.
Mm,
And now I'm back, still doing the same thing, supporting the financial advisor in Singapore to try to give them some added value on top of their product. So we do it digitally by offering a mini CRM, an app, and a concierge service behind, which is branded to their own firm.
mm, perfect. Yeah. And we were just discussing about how it's giving the broker that ownership over the relationship instead of maybe other more traditional routes where it feels like they lose that relationship once they pass off the policy.
Yeah, exactly. It's what they are looking for, eager to have that. In fact, the digitalizations that started in 2010 were focused on the claims and
Mm,
then acquisitions of policies, but always been direct from the insurance company itself. While I believe maybe similar in the UK, in Singapore, it's very intermediated, meaning that it's a financial advisor that locks the business rather than going direct. There's
mm,
very little direct business. There is none on the life insurance side. So there is a need to digitalize a financial advisor to help them to differentiate themselves
mm,
because they offer the same things. They are selling the same insurance. They are selling the same type of product. Uh, and therefore, the only way to differentiate themselves is mainly through brands, referral, know-how, relationship.
mm.
That's what we are trying to do with our system.
Perfect. Okay, great. And what for anyone that doesn't know, what's the market like in Singapore? The size, how many advisors are there?
Okay, so we are interestingly is one of the most densified um, industry when it comes to financial advisor. There is about 21,000 financial advisor that are certified and about 11,000 that are licensed. So I'm certified, I'm not licensed, me, for instance.
Okay.
So I could be licensed, I could ask to be licensed, but I'm not.
Mm,
Uh, and out of the 12,000 license, you have about 4,000 very active financial advisor. All
okay.
of this for very small populations, a market that is, uh, you have 6.5 million people living in Singapore. So you have a market about 3.5 to 4 million. You,
Okay.
I remove the kids, I remove the foreign workers, I remove the helper. Uh, so it's a small market for a lot of financial advisor.
Perfect. Okay. And why so busy on the financial advisor side of things? Why is Singapore so booming with insurance?
Very easy money to do. They earn a lot. So the way it's organized is out of the 12,000 guys that sell something, you
Mm,
will see that 75 to 80% are below 26, 27 years old. In fact, it's the first job they do.
okay.
Uh, they try to sell one, two, three insurance to their friends, to their family, and they make their first money. They are quite happy with that. And the following year is getting more complicated because they need to really push and do some sales.
Mm,
And a lot of attritions, it's happening there. Uh, so the opportunities to become an agent is very easy. It's very cheap to become an agent, very,
mm,
very cheap. But $600, you need to get 5 to 6 different papers. Once you have them, you are sponsored by an organizations, FA firms, that will take you through a training and then will push you for sale.
okay. Okay. Interesting. So Yeah, I can see why this has developed then to be able to help people be able to stand out, maybe moving into the first year or second year past selling to their friends and family.
Yeah.
And what is the breakdown in your eyes of the business written? So is it made up? Are you familiar with the 80-20 rule of 20% of people write 80% of the business? Is that the case there as well?
I would believe so. I would believe so. The main business, if I look on the life side, okay, if we rather than the PNC, the main business will be done on the critical illness and term life.
Okay.
Then endowment and investment link. Endowment, investment link, you will take them a bit more when you're more mature, maybe in the early 30s.
Mm,
But to take a term life, a critical illness, and a shield plan, so the compulsory life insurance, you
mm,
will take it as soon as you reach 18, 19 years old. So if you're a financial advisor at 20 years old, you go to university, you moonlight while studying, and then you will invite your friends to
mm,
get those products. So the bulk of the policies issues remain from the youngsters.
okay, okay. And it being such a competitive market, has it made it harder for you to sell your solution into the market? Is there a lot of people doing similar things to you?
No, we are the only one. Uh, we've witnessed a lot of uh, fintech or insurtech trying to get the market, but from a different angle. That
Mm,
angle was on the claim side or the KYC FNA,
yeah.
the know your customer and financial planning.
Mm,
Uh, but very quickly, the Singapore compliance managed by MIS restrict them because it's a lot about data management
mm,
and put back the responsibilities of KYC and FNA to the insurance companies.
mm.
So all those insurtech moved away and disappeared.
Okay.
Uh, we've we position ourselves very differently. We are not pushing on insurance. We are supporting, assisting insurance people to offer something different.
Mm, okay. Okay. And how was your sales process, or how does your sales process look for actually getting this message across to the insurance advisors?
Uh, how did I came to that solution, you mean?
Yeah, how did you get this solution in front of the advisors? Because lots of if fintechs and insurtechs came into the market and then they quickly left, is there a bit of
Well,
hesitant?
two things. The first one is me. I've been in the industry for the past 25 years.
Mm,
I know that I've been through different positions from actuary to the CMO of at regional level, and I've observed that need.
mm,
It was not the strategy of the insurance company I was working for, but I could see the need and the desire to have that,
mm,
the eager, the appetite. So when I left, I said, okay, I'm going to do that. Um, the second thing is about the other insurtech. It's mainly people that have no clue about insurance.
mm,
It's very difficult because they are not looking for innovations. They are very price sensitive, um, and they are data obsessed.
mm.
So as soon as you want to do innovations that collect data, for sure you will fail.
Okay.
Uh, or if you don't fail, you will fall into the compliance of the big players.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So what does your sales process look like for getting this out to new
So
advisors?
I mean, the market again is small, despite the number of agents. It's organized by a very small group of organizations. Um, and I have one BD, one lady that is a co-founder with me and is doing it for the past 3 years. Knock at the door, very simple. Knock at the door. Singapore is very small, so you don't need to go one way to the other. And after is the word of mouth. And if something works, then people are willing to test. Another thing is as I said, price sensitive. We are very affordable,
Mm,
and therefore the minds to think through it's gone on that matter because they are okay to try.
mm,
Okay, if it doesn't work, it won't affect too much their budget.
yeah,
And last thing is we are very fast. They can test it almost immediately.
yeah,
It's not a long way with uh, um, a long tail process of what do you want, discuss how your logo, how the color of your app look like, or what will be your service. But no, it's a package.
yeah.
It's the name, the app name is their company, it's their logo. They know perfectly what they get. We can change anytime what they want, and that's it.
Okay, simple, yeah. So when you're rolling this out, then do you have to offer any? You mentioned that it's obviously not too expensive for them to test it, but do you have to offer any sort of free trial, demo, anything like that, or it's because it's you've made it cost effective and it's fast, just 1 month's budget?
It's cost effective. It's not possible for them to have a trial. Okay, because I'm launching their own app,
Mm,
so it's a cost for me.
mm,
Uh, so if they want to try, I mean, we can give them access to the app or another app.
mm,
Uh, they can test the merchants that we have. They can test our concierge service. They know the clinics.
mm,
Again, we are in Singapore. It's small. The hospital, there is a limited number of hospital, a limited number of clinics, and therefore, when we tell them we work with those guys, we
mm.
tell them what price, it rings their bell. They know what we are talking about. So there's no much to try out before getting it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I guess as well because it's very close knit and you can show the direct effect of other firms once they have started using your app or their app that you've made for them. You can say, okay, well, this is what they were doing before. This is where they're at now. So it makes the sell process a lot smoother.
Yes, and you reach a level whereby suddenly those FR firms that do not use us say, "Wow, okay, those guys are using them. It's working well. They know it on the net. They hear about it. Why don't we have it?"
Mm, yeah.
It's faster. It's better.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. No, that makes sense. So, what is the plan then moving forwards? What if you've got a decent market share in Singapore at the moment? Uh, how are you looking at this next year ahead in business?
That's the dilemma. This is not very something. It's not very sexy for your podcast because you're supposed to talk about the expansion, going overseas, raise money or whatever. I'm not doing this at all. I've never raised money.
Mm,
Uh, it's extremely profitable. And as for evaluating expansion, it's complicated because it requires uh, energy, experience, expertise, and network. So the energy, I don't have it much to find I mean, to confirm that I have the right partner.
mm,
Uh, the expertise I have it's difficult to find a similar expertise who have, or at least someone who have the expertise with the same vision.
mm,
Uh, and I don't have the network. So we talked about it earlier. I've tried Malaysia, it fails.
mhm.
Uh, Lacking on all the point I've mentioned. And I've realized that to replicate, to go overseas. So for me in Singapore, going overseas is going Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
Okay, it's going Indonesia, Vietnam, Philippines, Thailand, Malaysia at first.
Mm,
And I realize that the willingness to pay for such a platform is not there, or is not worth the energy.
mm,
Maybe in Europe, maybe in the UK, surely in the US, it could work. But again, I need the right partner and the right partner must have the network, the experience, expertise, and understand that what he has to do.
mm.
So
Yeah.
we are thinking through. It's a complicated thought.
No, that makes sense. And we spoke a bit before about how in Singapore, it would be very expensive to then grow your market share even further. Can you just touch on that a bit?
Yeah. So we have about out of the 107 firms, we have about 48 now firms that work with us. So they are fully aware of what we do. And the remaining, if they don't work with us, it's mainly because they don't have the budget, or it's not in their strategy, and or is not it doesn't fall into their compliance or governance. So they have a genuine reasons not to work with us. It's not
Mm,
because we don't pitch them. Uh, so it's to move from 45% market share to 47 or 50% market share, it's very costly because
mm,
it will require us to adjust things to fit them, drop the price, um, change the platform, lobby more, spend more on acquisitions.
mm,
Um, yeah, we are it's difficult to find new business. The platform is very profitable.
mm.
So we are trying new things. We are trying to go into the vet, the pet industry,
Yeah.
where you have something similar but for pet, where you need, in order to subscribe to an insurance, you need to have a medical examinations. So vet are fighting among themselves to get that medical examination. We are trying to get it. And the same thing for the domestic helper in Singapore. It's very common in Singapore to have a helper at home. Helper is mainly a foreign worker,
Mm,
and they need by law to go for health screening every 6 months. Okay, so it's a foreign lady worker, and they
mm,
have to go to health screening. It's compulsory. So we try to capture that market.
mm,
Okay, to work with maid agencies and to again give them their own brand, and then to drive the maid to the clinics, and to give affordable pricing to the med agencies and the employer.
mm. Okay.
What we are trying to do. We've started in January. The business model is much less profitable than the FF industry.
Mm,
It's not profitable so far.
okay. Okay. And so on the insurance side of things, it's not that anyone doesn't know what you do. The other 52%, they all know what you do, but it's not going to work. Do you still feel like some of them will eventually drop in? Some do you think it will maybe grow a percentage in the next 2 years on the insurers side of things, or do you think it's going to stay around that same percentage you're at now?
We are trying another model. I will tell you that in June if it's working, where we work with the marketing agencies that tap on individual agents. So I've mentioned about the FA firms we were tapping on,
Mm,
and their clusters to offer apps. Now there is a market, as I mentioned, 12,000 license.
mm,
You have 5,000 very active, 6,000 remaining. We are trying to tap on those individual agents where instead of asking between $1,000 to $8,000 a month, we'd have to ask a fixed fee per year.
yeah.
It would be much less. So we are trying that. I mean,
Okay.
we will be trying that next week, actually, with the marketing agency. And the model is different. Instead of having your own app, your own brand, you have a common app with the same service and offer. And what we try to sell is generate leads for them. So we give them lead.
Okay.
Okay, so we give them a referral, a prospect, and they pay us for a prospect.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And do you so that would be interesting to keep an eye and see how we'll catch up again at some point and see how that's progressed. But do you get much churn as well? Many people leaving the platform once they've got it, or I imagine it's quite sticky business.
So because we are dealing with FA firms, it's quite sticky. The agents attached to it is turning
Okay.
a lot of turnover. But the agencies, we have about 90% retention.
Okay.
And at the end of the contract, we make them sign 2 years, 24 months.
Okay.
Okay. So they resign with us because we always try to innovate. And the 10% left, which is about six firms, I think three bust.
Mm,
So they don't pay anything. One has been caught for legal issues on compliance, so they were not allowed to do business anymore. And the other ones, maybe they didn't want to pay anymore, or they didn't find it interesting.
mm, fun. Yeah. But still good retention, still good re-sign. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that's maybe a slightly different with the with this new angle that you're taking. If it's going to be a lot faster pace, but going through them more. Yeah, be interesting.
I think it's going to be more complicated,
Mm, mm,
less profitable, and more complicated because you need to make yourself visible.
mm,
When I go and knock at the door of the FR firms, I knock at the door, I say, hello, I have 107 organizations to meet.
mm,
When I start to try to tap the 4,000 guys or 5,000 guys, it's more complicated.
yeah,
You need
yeah,
to, the reach, the difficulties is to reach them.
mm, yeah. And they're not going to pay as much necessarily.
Yeah, so we will ask them 80, between 24 to $88 a month. Depends of the number of fleets we give them.
Mm,
But again, it will definitely be less profitable.
yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Let's do another podcast in a year's time, and we can reflect on
Sure.
these strategies and see what's worked, what's not worked. See if there's any success stories in there. But no, thanks for that, Matthias. Where should people check you out? Should I link your LinkedIn, your website? What should I
You
try?
can put on a website or LinkedIn up to. We have few websites. We have CliniShield, we have Wellnex, we have Helper Singapore, and but it's all owned by MindSure Private Limited. So you can give the website on MindSure.
Perfect. I'll do mine, sure, and I'll put your LinkedIn in the description as well. But yeah, thanks for that, and that's the pod.
Yep. Thank you.